All right, welcome back. Let's get right into this. Just finished watching Casshern Sins, so this is going to be the second part of the first part. I'll have the first part here. Go ahead and click on that if you haven't seen that yet. Casshern Sins Part 2. Let's get started with that. Let's go a little bit episode by episode, but mostly general because there's a lot of stuff that is very broad, if that makes sense. And there's a lot that happens, and there's a lot of themes that really come to light. They've been pretty prominent throughout the first half, but they really spell it out for you in the second half. I don't know. I like it. It's pretty good. Okay, so Bright King Boss is kind of introduced more. He's been introduced since like the first episode. He's the Doctor Doom looking motherfucker. Um, but essentially he is the villain. He's led to he's kind of supposed to be the villain. He just by you can tell just by how he looks and everything. But and how he acts. Apparently he is the one that built Casshern, or at least ordered him to go kill Luna. He's the one that ordered Luna's death, essentially. And Luna is confirmed to be alive, and they are trying to find her at this point. Um, yeah, OG is also a robot builder. He found uh, what's her name? Oh my God, I can't remember again. Ringo's her name. He found Ringo when she was a baby, and apparently robots do grow up. It's not really explained how, but robots do progressively get older and grow up. I don't know. It's kind of strange, but it's just how it works in this universe. Um, from there, there is Dune, who is searching for Luna. Um, Dune is essentially seen crawling to find Luna. He is not dead. Um, I think I previously said that he got murdered by Dio, but he didn't actually. He's crawling, trying to find Luna, essentially just looping. Um, Casher and friends find him and meet him, and Dune essentially realizes that, oh shit, this is Casshern, the person that killed Luna, and he kind of freaks out a little bit. Um, but he eventually goes on his way to continue to find Luna. They kind of just leave him alone. Oh, we get introduced at some point to the two strongest robots that were uh like essentially ever in the previous times. They are essentially just to show um they take on Dio and that girl, and they lose the first time. Um they go and fight them again by the end of the episode and beat those two. Dio essentially beats them quite easily, and that's pretty much it for these two robots. They're just essentially just show Dio's progression. Um, oh, there is one strange episode where they find these three children, and they claim to be descendants of Luna. Um, they obviously make friends with Ringo. Um, Casher, that girl that's with Dio finds them, finds the three kids, I believe. Um, Casshern eventually saves them, and for that, the quiet one of the kids, essentially, there's one kid that doesn't talk, and the other two kids do, and the other two kids essentially sacrifice themselves so that the one kid can talk. The one kid reveals a secret, and they all essentially die at that point, or turn to stone, or ruin. Um, it's a pretty sad episode, but it's actually not that sad because that was kind of their purpose in the first place. Yuzu is the girl that Casshern killed her sister. That is her. She's the one that fought Casshern earlier on. She starts hallucinating at some point or having these visions, and she realizes that she actually has feelings for Casshern, and she really likes Casshern, which is kind of strange dilemma for her. But it is the first time we really see her feeling these emotions for Casshern. But episode 20 is actually where we start to see Luna for the first time. Casshern, Mizu, Ringo, they all reach Luna's castle. They see Luna. Um, they find a ton of robots seeking to essentially be healed by her. It's revealed that Luna in the previous life, I don't know how she got reincarnated, or revived, but it's revealed that previously she didn't grant life, but she granted death to robots. Um, and that she was somewhat of a queen for the humans, and then the robots eventually flocked to as well. And she instead of granting life, she granted death, strangely. Um, and the Luna, essentially, the reason why they call her the sun named Moon is finally kind of explained a little bit. She is the sun to the robots who are sort of like flowers. Like she gives life to the robots, sort of like how the sun gives life to flowers. So that is how she is the sun, and Luna is obviously named after the moon, so the sun named Moon. That's kind of where they get that whole thing, which I didn't understand in the beginning, but now kind of makes sense. Um, Here we see, Dune, the god of death, essentially. He finally finds Luna. He does not accept Luna's gift of life. Luna is apparently now granting eternal life instead of death, and somehow that has changed, and now she's granting life. Um, she hates death. That's a pretty big thing. She just really hates death in general. The smell of death disgusts her. And Dune doesn't accept the gift of eternal life for some reason, and he has finally found her. Um, Dune's a really cool character, I think. He gets in a fight with a bunch of robot bandits, and he is greatly injured. He's brought to Luna, who essentially says he's too far gone, and she hates the smell of death, and she leaves him to rust and die, and it's super alarming. Like, Luna's kind of a bitch. Honestly, she's horrible, but you don't really know what to think about her. She's very like serious, monotone, and creepy, like a creepy doll in a way. It is sort of shocking. And then Luna promptly asks Casshern to be her new guardian instead of Dune. She eventually asks him to be her king, which is kind of strange. She wants to be with him, which I guess makes sense because she's like the giver of life, and Casshern is immortal. So there is that for some. I don't know. There is that, so that kind of makes sense, and it would kind of be cool, but it just seems like Luna's so psychopathic that it doesn't really. She does. Casshern doesn't really like Ryuzu and Ringo. do not seem to want to get the gift of eternal life anymore because of Luna's insane personality. They just really don't like her, and they see everybody is kind of different when they accept that eternal life. So they decide to hold off for the time being. You also see, sadly, the degradation of them both, of Ringo and Yuzu. Um, it's kind of sad. Eventually, that girl tries to, Dio's girlfriend essentially tries to convince Dio to accept the healing. And their plot is to be the only ones that are healed and immortal, and then have their army, essentially grant out, or have Luna grant out specific healing to specific people so that they are subservient to them. But Dio's just really hell bent on being Casshern's adversary. He really wants to fight him, and that's pretty much it. He just wants to beat Casshern. You can kind of see Dio degrading at this point. The rune is starting to catch up to him, which is strange because if he has all the same, I guess he has all the same physical abilities as Casshern, except for the immortality portion. So he can't heal like Casshern. Everything else is supposed to be the same though, which was not necessarily explained. I guess it was just implied. Um, he doesn't care about eternal life though. He just wants to fucking kill Casshern essentially. Um, yeah, by all means, he just wants to fight Casshern. Casshern and Dio can actually do fight. They find each other. Casshern actually gets fucking brutally beat by Dio's army, like ripped open, ripped apart, like really demolished. And he's having a hard time healing because of how damaged he is. But Dio wants him to heal. He's like yelling at him to heal so he can fight him. Um, which Casshern eventually does heal, and Dio um, fights Casshern, and they're fighting, and it's a huge battle and all of this. Um, Eventually, Dio lands a good hit on Casshern. Casshern also lands a fair hit on Dio at the same time. But Dio's like, I finally beat you, Casshern. I finally won. When it does, like, no, he didn't. He didn't win. He just kind of punched him in the stomach and then declared that he won. And then his arm rots away and falls off through the ruin. Like he's kind of just coping at this point, saying that he won. Casshern kind of just lets him. He's like, sure, man, whatever, you fucking won, I guess. Not really. He just kind of stands there and broods a little bit. And he's just chilling. And Dio essentially falls apart. But Casshern does feel bad for Dio at this point. He feels like, oh shit, Casshern's like, oh no, sorry, Casshern's like, oh shit, Dio is fighting and he is happy to fight. He has a fire in him, even though he knows he's gonna die. He has a big, he has passion, and so that really awakens something in Casshern. Like, oh wow, even though he's gonna die, he's still so happy to do what he wants to do. And that's the moral of that fight essentially. Um, and Dio feels like he has fulfilled his existence, and that's pretty much the end of that. Um, at this point, Casshern is done. He says, "Fuck Luna." Dio's dead. Uh, Dio's girlfriend essentially tries to get healed from Luna. She kind of goes off on her own, tries to get healed from Luna. Luna does. She said, "Fuck it, I'll heal you." And Dio's girlfriend kind of she does get healed, but her the side of her face essentially cracks again, and she's like, "Hey," she goes back to Luna. She's like, "Hey, what happened? I just told you to heal me," and she's like, "I did heal you, but maybe it wasn't strong enough." Like Luna's kind of playing with her emotions at this point. And so she's like, I can heal you more. And so she's like, yeah, heal me more. And so she heals her more, and it fucks her up. Like, she gets these crazy growths on her leg. Her leg gets big, and her arm gets like, she gets a giant bladed arm essentially, like almost like a cancer growth that she doesn't want. And her whole obsession is beauty. And so she wakes up and she's hideous. You know, she's unsymmetrical. She doesn't feel like she's what she wants to be. And so she kind of ruins her at that point in a different way, in the worst way that she could think possible. And so she comes back to Luna, and Luna's a savage, bro. Luna, she's like, why would you do this to me? Blah blah blah. And Luna just straight like picks up a blade and just stabs her. She just stabs that bitch through the heart, and it doesn't kill her. Obviously, she's shaken, but it doesn't kill her. And I think she does. It doesn't kill her, but I think she does eventually die, or something. It's kind of sad. Not really, because she's kind of a bitch anyways. But uh, Luna just like ruined her life essentially. Casshern does show up, but I don't think he saves her in time. I don't know. I think he might save her, but she doesn't want to live anyways. Um, where was I? Oh, sorry, Casshern and Liu and Ringo and the Doc, they go off to live their life essentially, um, happily. Liu and Casshern fall in love. They have a great relationship. It's very cute. You get a little bit of time where it's just them two, and then there's Ringo, which is kind of like their surrogate daughter in a way, or their adopted daughter. The doc is kind of working on some fertilizer to make more flowers because that's what Ringo likes. Eventually, you see Liu starting to fail. She like falls over, and she eventually dies, and it's very sad. And Casshern's heartbroken. Poor Ringo is crying and stuff. Um, this kind of breaks Casshern for a little bit. He's pissed. He goes to Luna. He's They send an army of robots after him. After Casshern, essentially, Casshern meets the robots, and he fucking destroys them. He goes through them. He's pissed. He's wrecking them. And he's feeling pain. And Luna's sitting there crying, scared as hell. Um, because she's like, I'm gonna be killed again by the same fucking guy. And so she's pissed and scared and crying, um, shitting her pants essentially. Eventually, Casshern meets what's his name? Uh, Breaking Boss. Casshern meets Breaking Boss. Breaking Boss fights Casshern. It's a good fight, but Casshern essentially just destroys him, like it should be. And Breaking Boss is like, what a good killing machine that I built. And then he just proceeds to die. Casshern pushes through, gets to Luna, and Luna's like scared. She stabs him with another fucking blade. I don't know where she keeps getting these dumbass blades, but she stabs Casshern, and they're talking a little bit. And he's like, I'm not gonna kill you. And she's like, you're not gonna kill me? And he's like, no. If these people want to live, I'm not gonna stop them from living. That's their choice to make. And so he essentially says, these people need to know death though, so that they can live a true life. And that's what I'm going to be for them. I'm going to be a true death so that they can live life. Even though they'll be immortal, they know that their death is coming, so they'll be able to live. Because at this point, Casshern feels like you need to have an end date. You need to have knowledge that you're going to die to be able to live. He comes to the realization that all these people that have died on his journey, all these people that he's met so far, have all have all had such great personalities and had such life to them, even though they knew they were going to die and rust away. And so he decides that that it's their choice if they want to take this immortality, but I will come back one day, and I once everybody gets immortality, I will start killing everybody. Essentially, is what you're led to believe, what it implies, and kind of what it says also. And so it's kind of a scary thought. Like, oh shit, once everybody's immortal, he's gonna come and start killing people to show them, to give them an end date on their lives. Um, and so that's really the moral of the whole series is you need the thing that makes life so special, and that the thing that makes life um, what it is the fact that you know that you're going to die one day, I guess. And it's a pretty common theme. It's something, it's a theme that has been done before, uh, time and time again. Not overdone necessarily, but it is good. I think it is a good theme, and it ties the whole story together, especially with the ruin and people dying exceedingly fast, and with Casshern being the immortal one, and with Luna being the one that brings people life. It's a good story in general. And Ringo, essentially, we see grown up. We see her like a teenager or a young adult now, who's talking, and she's narrating. She's like, in this world that I'm one of the first people to be able to live forever. I am one of those people, and she essentially explains the fact that Casshern was never seen again, and that he will be back one day to bring balance to life, to make sure that people live in actual life. Um, they compared to a flame, where a flame burns bright and then it's eventually burned out. I kind of butchered that, but that's essentially what they compared it to. And she seems very happy. She seems like she's living her life. It's a very sweet ending, and it ties the series together very well, I think. And that's pretty much the end. That's where it ends, is with Ringo, um, living her life, and everyone else essentially starting to seek out the eternal life. And Ringo says, "I will live until I'm done living," and one day she's gonna see Casshern again, and it makes you think like, what would Casshern be like? Would he come back and see Ringo and struggle to kill her? Like, is that what he'd actually do? I don't know, but it really does end out the series in a good place, and it's a great anime. The story's very good. It's not super gory because of the robots. It's not. There's a very little nudity, if any, and it's not super explicit at all. It's done very well. I don't. Is there any swearing? I don't remember if there's any swearing, but not much, if any. And they have a couple songs in here that are really good. The intro song's great, and the song about halfway through the series is really good too. Um, just a great anime in general. I'd probably give it like a 7 or an 8 out of 10. I recommend watching it. It's not that long. It's 24 episodes, and they're like 20-minute episodes. It's a good story through and through. Make sure you get to like at least episode 12, and it'll pick up a little bit. But it's pretty consistent with what it is. I appreciated it. So thank you for watching. This has been my review of Casshern Sins. This is the end of part 2. I'll try to do some more animes in the future. We will see where we go with this. But thank you guys for watching again, and please subscribe for more content like this. Let me know if you guys really like this. Let me know if you guys have any suggestions for more anime that I should watch or review. And that's it. Thank you.